Welcome to Design Sprint. In the 50-day challenge, we'll be diving into the exciting world of web development by completing 50 projects that will help you master HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Whether you're an absolute beginner or looking to level up your skills, this challenge is the perfect way to learn and practice web development. Through the challenge, we will be taking a hands-on approach to help you build your skills. So if you're ready to take your web development skills to the next level, come join us to the exciting journey. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. This would help me build more content and keep you guys engaged. Welcome to day 4 of the 50-day challenge. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder. This is going to be hidden search bar. So this project, I'm going to go ahead and write it over here. Done. Now inside it, I would create 3 files as usual. So at first, I would go ahead and create index.html. Then I would be creating another file called style.css, and at last I would be creating the java.js file. So now these are created. I'm going to close this. Okay, now in index.html I would go ahead and shift exclamation enter. I get the complete details. Now in order to make changes and show you, I'm gonna do one thing. I'm gonna open the live server. So the live server would be opening up now. Open live server. So you can see over here it's open. Please ignore at the bottom there is the copyright thing that is coming up, so don't worry about that. I'm gonna go ahead and rename this as hidden search bar. Okay, so now I'm gonna use again Google icons over here. So at first I would go ahead and link the style sheet, that is the style.css for now. So link relationship style sheet, then href to style.css. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and close this. And now let's go ahead once it's linked. So now I'm gonna go ahead and search for the Google material icons that I used in my previous project. So I would go ahead and open a new tab and search for the Google material icons by W3 schools. So Google, okay, you can see over here. So now click on the first link. Use the first details over in your style sheet link. Okay, in second line, paste it here. Now go ahead and do the changes. So now I'm going to go ahead and create a search body. So it would be a div class search. So there would be an icon in between with a search and a search bar. So whenever I click on the icon, it would go ahead and open it. So this time I'm going to go ahead and show you one link from where I would get the background colors. So this is for the CSS that I would be using later. So the site is called, okay, you can see IO. So over here, CSS gradients. So you can see, you can use any gradient that you want to create, or go ahead and copy the CSS code also. I would go ahead and go to the backgrounds. So over here there are multiple things that you can use. So I'm checking the UI gradients. See, you can see use this. Then I would be taking from gradient. So just copy this. For now I would like this. I like this very much. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this for now. I won't be using it right now because at first I would be creating the div for this specific project. So let's create a div right now. It's gonna be div with the class. I would keep it as search. Then in that specific div, I would go ahead and use input type. So input type would be text. Input type equals to text, and class would be input. Okay, sorry about that. Inside delete. Okay, and class would be input. Then placeholder, I have to use placeholder that would show up inside that. So it's gonna be search with dot 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 dot. Done. So I would close this input and now create a button for this. The button would show up over this. So button class, I'm gonna use btn as usual, equals to btn. Done. I'm gonna close this, and inside this I would be using the material icon. So in order to do that, I would use I class equals to material icons. Select this, and now I would be using the search button. So search, so it would give the search icon. I'm gonna go ahead and save this. Let's see. Okay, done. Now over at the end, before the body end, I would go ahead and link the Java file. So that would be the script src equals to java.js. So the Java file is being loaded and closed. Now I'm gonna go ahead and save it again. Now let's see. See, this search bar has appeared and with the icon. So what will happen, this I need to go ahead and have it in between of this. So let's style it. So starting the style off with, okay, star, sorry about that, star box sizing. Okay, border. Okay, sorry about this. It needs to be border, not border. It's going to be box sizing. That has to be border box. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and design the body. So for the body, I would be using the color that I copied at first, that I showed you from CSS gradient diagram. See, pasted it. Now save it, and you can see such a pretty color. This will be fixed right now. It's showing as lined. Just give me 1 minute. So now I'm going to use the font family sans serif, my favorite. Now display I would be using as flex. So align items, now I'm going to use it as center, and justify content I would be using as center also. And let's say height would be 100 VH. Okay, now save it. Okay, done. Now I'm gonna go ahead and see. You can see the changes. It came in middle and the lines have been removed. Now for that search input, I'm gonna go ahead and make it inside that button. So dot search, I would go ahead and give it a position. That's gonna be relative again. Position relative, and height would be 50 pixels. Now the search is done. So what I need to do is, now I need to go ahead and do it for search input. Dot search and space dot input. Now for this I would go ahead and choose the background color. So background color, back to my basics, Alice blue. Now font size would be 10 pixels. Okay, 10 pixels. Now I would be using the height as 50 pixels and width as 50 pixels also. Now over here I have to use a transition. So transition for the width I would write down with wi, okay, 0.3 seconds with ease. So it's going to be the ease function. Okay, then I have to use border as 0 so that the border does not show up, and save. So okay, done. So you can see 50 pixel done. Now I need it under the button, so dot button, background color would be same as previous. It is going to be Alice blue, and cursor I would be using for this as pointer. So cursor, pointer. Now the font size for this I would be using as 20 pixel, and position of this would be absolute done. Now left would be 0 for this, and height has to be same as previous, so height 50 pixels and width 50 pixels. So it has to match the search.input, so I'm using it. Now for here I need the transition too. So transition, see it came under the search button itself. So now I'm going and using the transition transform, and for this it would be transform, not with. So transform dot transform, and I would use the time as 0.3 second. That is also ease. Now border would be 0, so the border does not show up. I would be using border as 0. Now I would be teaching you guys how to have specific border radius. So I want this radius here and this here. So when I click on it, it would be rounded edges on both the sides. So border radius 0 pixel. So for the first radius it won't work, so I am using 0. Now I will be using 20 pixel, again 20 pixel. So this and this is 0 pixel, so both of those two would be 20 pixels, the edge corners. Now on focus I have to use another, so button focus comma dot input focus. So both focus outline should be none, so I'm gonna now use outline as none. Now in the search active, search dot active dot input, so for that input the width would increase, so width would be 200 pixels. Done. Now search active button, the button should transform, so it should be around x-axis. So transform, translate I would use again, translate x 198 pixels, so it would move 198 pixels. Now I'm gonna save this, and it won't work right now because I need the JavaScript. So going to the JavaScript, the JavaScript is going to be pretty simple. It would have 3 constant. So creating first constant for the search, I would be using document dot query selector. So I would select the dot search over from the div. So this is going to be inside single inverted commas. So search done. So second would be btn. So constant button document dot query selector, that is for dot button. Now I'm going to go ahead and create the third one, that is const input equals to document dot query selector dot input. It's going to be, so these three I have created, which is linked to the icon over here. So now all I need to do is whenever I click on this, it should change the class, rather the CSS file. So I have to use an add event listener. So button dot add event listener, click function. So I have to define the click function, that is going to be search. Okay, that is on whenever the search is pressed. So search dot class list dot class list dot toggle, and the toggle would be active. That means it would activate the CSS file, and now I would be using the input dot focus. Now I would be saving this. Now let's see, let's try this. Okay, see, it works. Now you see the search and also the rounded feature that I talked about, border radius, and this works fine. The code is great. So thank you guys for following. Please like, share and subscribe for more such content. Bye bye.
So please, whatever.